On this video, I'm going to show you how to create this skylight. Okay, so you see that it's a pyramid, and the base of this pyramid is slanted, same slope as the roof, and the top of the pyramid is flat, it's horizontal. We did here, you remember that we made this roof 001, that this is a reference plane, and it follows the slope of the roof. Okay, so the first, we have to set this as a working plane, and we have to start working at this plane because this is where the pyramid starts. And then the second part of the pyramid is at this level, is at level top skylight. And this, but yeah, so it has this height. Okay, so we need to understand that the base, it's gonna be at the reference plane, and the top is gonna be at this level. Previously, I have created a wall. So what is the wall that I created? I created this basic wall, and the layers are softwood half inch, rigid insulation 10 inches, and softwood half inch. It has three layers: external, internal finish, and rigid insulation in the middle. Next, we have to go to. We can start with the 3D view, the top view, and if we go to the top view, what are the basic guidelines for this? If we go to the wireframe, we need to know that if we have created that beam, this should be the starting point for the pyramid. And then the size of this, it's between two beams of this beam system. Okay, so we have to make the most of the existing structure, because opening a hole in the roof, it means that we have to create elements so that we have a solid or rigid frame around the skylight. So if the next skylight is here, let's make it here. And the the base is going between this beam, this one, and then I will cut it here, and to make it yeah, to be able to open that skylight, I need to cut this beam, so I need to create another beam here. Okay, let's do it, and you will see. I'm going to hide the topography because it's bothering me. And now, as I told you, we need to go to massing and site, and we have to go to in place mass. First, we have to set the work plane at. Sometimes we have a drop down menu, but sometimes we have it here. So you see that we have levels when we are setting the work plane. And I'm going to select this roof 001. That's the reference plane I created. And now I'm going to create a rectangle, and I'm going to go from this point. Okay, so it's important that there are two beams at the edges of this opening, and the size is whatever. Never mind. If we rotate this view, we can see that this first rectangle is following the tilt of the roof. Okay, so now we have to create the base. So the base can be a square, and the square has to be here. I would set the work plane on that level skylight, top skylight. And now, if I did this, it should work. But sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so you see that I have created this, and this is not flat. Okay, so sometimes if it doesn't work, we can keep trying because it should work, or we can create this. We can set the work plane using this. Okay, so here we have drawing on face, or we have drawing on work plane. So if I select drawing on work plane, I'm sure that it will work. So I'm going to do this again. And now if I rotate, yeah, it works. Okay, so it's a little tricky, so be careful with that. So once we have this base that it's following the roof slope and that top which is horizontal, then I have to select both. If I select both, I have to create a solid form, and then I can finish the mass. Well, it's different from this, so what I would do is to create one and then copy it, but I'm going to finish the mass. Now I'm going to go to hidden line. So this is a mass, so the mass doesn't have any material, it's transparent. But if I go to masonry side and I select wall by face, then I can select this face and then I create a wall and another wall here and another wall there and finally another wall there. So now it has a material. What is the material? If we go to the realistic material, it's this softwood that we created in the when we selected them. Why do we have this? Because there are two things here. We have the wall and we have the mass. So I think it would be better if we hide, can, if we could hide the masses. So I'm going to filter and I'm going to, I have selected the two masses here, apply, and now hiding view elements. So now I don't see the mass. The mass is there, but it's hidden, and I only see the wall. What's next? I need to do the roof. Okay, so if I want to do the roof here, I want to go to roof. The roof is slightly different because you see that I have to create roof. Okay, so I have to create roof, but now I don't have the mass. Okay, so yeah, I have to create the roof. I have to select this part of the mass, and then I have to create the roof. And there you go. And now I can hide the masses. Don't delete the masses because we might need them. So just filter and hiding view. There you go. So now we have the wall and we do have the roof here. Finally, we need the skylight itself, the window. So you have to go to insert. We have to find the family. We have to go to Windows, and there should be, yeah, we have this skylight flat. So you have to select this one, load into the drawing, and in Windows, we have this skylight flat. Uh, Sometimes we have this skylight by default, and this is not the right size. So what is the right size? We have to measure the space that we have available. Okay, so the space that we have available is that space. I can create the model line like here, and what is the dimension of this? It's 3 feet and 10 inches. Okay, so now what I need is to turn. I can edit the type, I can duplicate, and this is 3 feet 10 inches by 3 feet and 10 inches. Okay, and now the width would be 3 feet and 10, and the height would be 3 feet and 10. apply. Okay, kind of. Now I have to place that in the middle, and if we use hidden line, it will look good. Are we done with this? Not yet, because as I told you, if we go to the wireframe, we can see that this pin is here. So we open the skylight so that I can have light. But if I have this pin, I don't have light on this skylight. Okay, so what shall I do? I have to cut that line. So I think the best way is to use a section. So I need a section through that skylight. I don't remember where the skylight was. Okay, so it was here where the door is. Probably it's not the right place for the skylight, but anyway. So the door is there. So the skylight, I think it's right there. On section 2. Yeah, there you go. So you see that this is a mess and we have to fix it, okay? But you see that these are the walls of the skylight. That is the roof with the window on it. That's the beam that we have to cut. And to cut this beam, if this is a part of a beam system, I have to unpin it. And then if I use this split element, I can split the beam here, and I can split the beam there. And now I can do this. If I make this section box like this now, you see that I have cut this. Matters now is that this part of the beam is completely disconnected, so we need a solid element on the structural front. We need a solid element connecting this beam and that beam. I can do that again on this section. First, I have to fix this thing. Um, I can go to architecture, component, model in place, structural framing, and I'm going to use extrusion. I pick the plane here. I have to select this beam, and now I can draw a solid rectangle like that. And I could draw another solid rectangle here, and then we will fix it. So it goes from this one to that one. Okay, so all around the skylight, the new skylight, we need solid elements. We have this beam here, this beam there, and we need this element there. So this is what it happened in this section 2. Okay, so probably I can copy this element here, and now I have the solid element. This wall will be resting here. And are we done? We're not done, because if we here we don't know what we have done, because we have this invisibility graphics. If I select all the cut patterns and I override with a solid black pattern, this is what we get. That's the skylight, that's the window, that's fine. Here we have a solid beam, here we have another solid beam, fine. But we don't have an opening. We have the skylight, but the roof doesn't have an opening. What shall I do? I have to open this roof. So I have to select the roof itself, not the beam system, but the roof. And this roof is created by extrusion. So we have to open a vertical opening. So the vertical opening can be this line, and that one, and that, probably that one. It's better. Now I have to trim everything. And if we go to the section now, we see that there is an opening here.